Hello, happy March, happy start of a new series. So throughout the entire month of March at FWA, we are diving into spring cleaning. And we're going to kind of get into some of those hard to reach places. Starting today with your desktop. So level with me. Let me know if this sounds like you. You have constantly 15, 20, 40 tabs open on your computer. You take screenshots of really awesome quotes or pictures or inspiration of projects that you want to do, and you kind of let those hang out on your desktop. You start a new doc all the time because you have like all these to-do lists and you don't want to lose a thought in the moment, so you put it on your desktop. And all of a sudden, your desktop has 52 million things on it. Or maybe you aren't all over like that, but you tend to keep things on your computer's desktop versus in a documents folder or versus in folders at all because you want to find it easier next time. Maybe that sounds like you. Or maybe all of these things are making you super anxious and you're like, I just can't deal right now. That's totally fine. I'll see you later. I want to tackle desktop because so many of us the past year, and I can't believe it has been a year, have been glued to our computers. And the last thing that I want for you, and the thing that I want most for you, is to be able to open up your computer. First of all, turn it on because you had already turned it off. How many of you don't turn off your computers? Me neither. I don't. And my husband works in IT, and I do not turn off my computer. And I know that I should. I know my computer needs to be turned off, but I'm like, I don't want to lose where I am. So I'm just going to shut it, just going to take a little nap. We'll come back to it. It's fine. It'll be fine. It's like a little power nap for it. It's not. You need to turn it off. But I want you to be able to open your computer and look at that desktop and not freak out every time. I want you to feel good about it. So I have a few ideas, a few tips, and just quick tips. Every week we're going to tackle a different topic with this spring cleaning. There's 5 Tuesdays in March, and we're going to tackle a different topic. And today just happens to be your desktop. So I have a few tips for you to take a deep breath, dive into it, and declutter your desktop because you're worth it. All right, first, we need to assess the situation. So number one, I call it WTF do I have here, or assess the situation. I want you to minimize or close all the tabs and just take a look at your screen. Just look at it. What's there? Do you have any sort of semblance of themes or categories? Is it mostly Word documents? Is it pictures? Is it screenshots? What do you have there? Just take note. Just take a little look. Just take a quick peek. Look at it. Is everything kind of organized in tiles, or are there things on top of things? Do you have any folders on that desktop, or is it all docs or images? Just take a look. Make a note. If it's too much to look directly into the soul of your computer on the desktop, look in your Finder or File Explorer folder. Look from that angle and look at it as tiles. So you can actually do a quick search of what is there. See if you have a bunch of documents that are related to each other, or if, again, it's all to-do lists. I had that problem at one time. Or do you guys have this, or do you remember when you could do download this little thing to put Post-it notes on your desktop? That was a very rough time for me. I had a lot of Post-its on my desktop, and I finally just deleted the program and I got rid of them. But it took a little time. But assess the situation. Once you kind of get a sense of what do I have here, start to group things and create a temporary folder system. We're going to get out of that clutter. If you don't have any idea of a theme, or if no theme really emerges of what items are on that desktop, I'm going to give you some subcategories, temporary folders to create. So I suggest, and because I've seen a lot of desktops, I work with people on their computers, like, here, look at this thing, Miss Anderson, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to do this, because I've seen a lot of really scary desktops. Okay, so I want you to create some temporary folders. And if you don't know what to do, I have some suggestions. Create a folder for Word documents, or you could call it work. So Word documents or work. Create a folder for pictures or screenshots, or both. You could just lump them all in there. Create a folder for if you have a Mac and you have applications on your desktop. We're gonna stop doing that. We're gonna stop doing that. I want you to put those applications in a folder. So a third folder would be application shortcuts, or if you don't have a Mac and you can't do application shortcuts, frequently accessed files would be a good temporary folder for you. And then a final one will be IDK or potpourri, just things that don't fit into those previous. So you're creating temporary folders. One is Word docs. One is pictures and screenshots. One is frequently accessed files. And one is potpourri, because I don't know what to do with it. We're going to create those 4 folders. You're going to put everything in your desktop onto those folders. Okay? Still with me? You got this. Now that they're in folders, we can tackle those folders one at a time. I want you to take a second, one folder at a time, look to see if there's any subcategories to create a different folder, a permanent folder, and look to see if there's anything that you're like, oh yeah, that recipe that I screenshotted like 6 months ago, I'm never gonna use it. Delete. One folder at a time. So you're gonna go through this one folder at a time. Once you start to see that the items on your desktop fall into themes or categories, we're going to create a permanent folder system. And you can have the permanent folder system live on your desktop, but I highly recommend shifting it to like documents. Just shift it to a totally new place. Take it from where it is and move it to a new place. We can do this. I want you to create a permanent folder system, a naming convention, a system. So I like folders inside of folders. That's just who I am as a person. I like to click on a folder, it has folders. I click on that folder, it has documents. So I have a very specific system that I'll share with you. I start with a main folder, and that main folder is all caps. So like, for example, I host fitness challenges, and my main folder will be challenges in all caps. Inside that folder, I have subfolders of each challenge that are in title case. So like, for example, right now I have winter shape up is my challenge. So challenges folder, inside it is winter shape up. And inside that, I have every document that pertains to that particular challenge. I like systems. I like folders inside of folders. That is my love language. If you just want to have 5 main folders and everything falls in those categories because it's super neat, and you're like, I just need all of these things in this folder, that's fine. But you need to decide a system and a naming convention for your system. Okay? So we've assessed the situation, we've created some temporary folders, we've figured out, we have some themes or some groupings, and we're going to create a permanent folder system. While we're doing all that cleaning, I want you to see a couple of things. Does your computer run really slowly? Have you ever turned it off? Have you ever restarted it? Let's start there. Another thing that definitely helped me. So a little bit of backstory. I recently bought a brand new computer because mine died and I lost a lot of stuff. And I don't want that to happen to you. And this happened like less than 2 months ago. So in the last 2 months, I've lost a lot of documents, a lot. And I backed up some things, but not current versions of things. I had a really productive January. I lost a lot of stuff in January, but it's okay. You can move on from it. If you ever want to talk about that kind of thing, let me know. I can walk you through how to not lose your crap when you lose everything. Maybe that should be a blog. Okay, if your computer's running slow, I want you to turn it off or restart it. Or I want you to do a little investigation and see what files you have on your computer. If you have anything super large that is weighing your computer down, it's time to move it to another spot. So in a Mac, you can go to About This Mac, Storage, and Manage. And that allows you to see what applications, what items you have, and how large those files are. You can sort by the size of the file. I am super sorry, I don't know how to do this on a PC. I have a Mac, but I'm sure there's a way to see what kind of files you have on your computer and how large they are on a PC. Google it. I promise Google is your friend. So I would sort by the size of the files, and anything super large, which in my case is I have a ton of video content, I've started moving to another place because it does not serve a purpose on my computer. I need a place where I can access it. So we have developed, in our household, we've developed a saving system, but you don't need those very large files on your computer every single day to weigh it down. Back it up to a drive, back it up to a cloud, something somewhere else where it's not actually physically living on your computer, because that is weighing it down. And my last tip is, once you have organized your things into folders, you've developed a naming convention, a system, you've looked at your computer to determine, is it running okay? Do I have really large files that I need to move somewhere else? Then I will start to allow some docs on the desktop. I do in-process files on the desktop so I have easy to access, and now my desktop is clean because I've organized it into folders, and that's what you're gonna do, and I'm able to see those things more easily. So for example, when I do my Coffee Talk Tuesday, that is a doc that goes on my desktop because that is something in process. It has an end date, so I will delete that from my desktop today after I post my blog, and then I do one for the next week. So you can have items on your desktop if you're looking for something easy to find, but when you have it in a mess with all the clutter, you're never gonna find that thing that's super important. So maybe you wanna do a to-do list on your desktop. Maybe you have an in-process thing, a grocery list, something that you're keeping on your desktop that you know you're going to delete. That's okay. As long as you have organized your things into folders, you can have a couple of random files on your desktop, and that's totally fine. Okay, so I want you to assess the situation. Figure out, can I put these into 4 temporary folders and just see what I have? Start to delete things that you're never gonna open, never gonna look at again. To-do lists from 6 months ago that, I'm sorry, you're not gonna ever get to those tasks. They're long gone, forget about them, moving on from those. And then you're gonna develop a naming convention and create some permanent folders. You're gonna see how your computer is running, if you have any really large files that you need to get rid of or move. And bonus, you're gonna empty your trash or recycle bin. Empty it. It's like the most satisfying thing in the world. It'll be okay. You can lose those things. Let them go. Let them go. Take a deep breath. I love decluttering. I love getting organized. If you need tips, or if you have tips, if there are things that you have done that have worked so well, please make sure to add those as a comment. I'm afraid of the delete. Marlo, let me tell you something. I'm afraid of the delete too, and then I lost literally everything. Every document file that I created in the month of January. And you know me, I'm really productive. I lost everything. I didn't even have a chance to save it. I back up things and the backup failed. So it's okay. You can lose everything and still function. And I didn't miss a beat. Like, I told a couple people at my work job that I lost stuff, but it didn't stop what I was doing. You can recreate things. And if you lose something and you can't recreate it, then maybe it wasn't meant to be in your document folder, right? It's all good. I kept moving. I ended up creating better things that I lost. So there's that as well. You've already created that file, so you have the capacity to create it again and even better. And out of that came really awesome challenges. I actually lost a lot of videos that I created too. 4 challenges that were happening. So I had to lock myself in my studio and film 20 hours of footage. It was good stuff. January was awesome. But you come out of it stronger. So don't be afraid of the delete. I promise you can recreate it. You can totally do it. Even if it seems like you could never do it, I promise you can. It did for a minute. I was upset for a day, and then I came back stronger. So anything you lose, again, you can recreate, and I did. And it was better. The thing that I created, the next step, was so much better than what I created originally. So there you go. You could totally do it. And I did it, and it was my business, and it was, again, lots and lots of hours of time. Lots of hours of time that only I could redo. So those are my tips for decluttering that desktop. You are worth it. You deserve to have a clean slate to look at. You deserve to not be freaking anxious every time you open your computer. And what are you going to do tonight? You're going to close your files and you're going to turn your computer off and let it rest. Let it rest, because then it will work better for you the next day. All right, make sure if you have tips that you want to share, add those in the comments. If you have questions, if you have, if you're curious, like what kinds of folders should I create? Let's chat about it. I love this stuff. I love getting organized. This is the time of year to do it. And if you are already super organized, this is a chance to look over that system. So I like to go through it and delete things that I'm not actually using. I like to go through my files and make sure that it's working for me, that those are the appropriate names for things, all of those different things. So March goal, clean tech. Marla, we're walking through all of our tech. Don't you worry. We're getting there. I love it. All right. You have a fantastic start to your March. Join me again next week for another spring cleaning episode and share all your tips in the meantime. Thanks, guys. Have a great Tuesday. Bye.